Our local economy with our most amazing offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing with no money down on anything and everything. Yes! Now, for a limited time, Diamonds Direct is doing our part to help you get back to normal and celebrate your love like never before. Our prices and values are the best ever. Our showcases are fully stocked, and we're letting you buy now with nothing down, and you can spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. Been putting off that engagement? Get her a $6,000 designer ring now and pay just $100 a month. Did you miss celebrating that anniversary? How about a $3,000 Diamond Eternity Band for just $50 a month? Summer is the season for love, and we're doing all we can to make this summer one to remember with exceptional values, extra selection, and the most exceptional finance opportunity. 5 years, 0 interest on approved credit. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Though we're apart these days, we're sharing more. So, at Geico, we'd like to say thanks. Thanks for sharing your savage dance moves. Thanks for sharing your DIY haircut fails. Thanks for sharing your inner lip sync star. Now, it's our turn to share with the Geico Give Back, a 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies for current and new customers. Because we're committed for the long haul, the 15% credit lasts your full policy term. Visit geico.com/giveback for more info and eligibility.
With your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, I'm B41010XL. This update brought to you by Southern Oak Insurance. Jaguars starting quarterback Gardner Minshew met with the media yesterday via virtual press conference. ESPN gives the Jags the worst odds of winning the Super Bowl. Most mock drafts have the Jags picking first, but Minshew's not going to sweat the doubters.
Yeah, I mean, I think it should put a chip on everybody's shoulder on our team, being kind of counted out like that. I think we do have a lot to prove. Prove that, we're not what anybody says about us. The only people whose opinions matter is who's in that huddle, who's on that team. And I think we're going to set those expectations for ourselves and not worry about, what anybody else has to say about us.
Another quarterback headed to Georgia, former USC starter JT Daniels, a former 5-star prospect, transferring to the University of Georgia. Has 3 years of eligibility remaining, but will have to get a waiver to participate this season. It's 7:02, 71 degrees. Time and temperature brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Ladies and gents, please put your hands together as Dan Hicken enters the studio.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday.
You know it! Sweet Friday! With a motion, please.
Wow.
Hey! Ho! Here we go! Hey, ho!
Friday. I bought Friday a two-piece. We're going to take her to the beach with us.
Yeah, she deserves it. Just better keep an eye on her next Friday because she gets a little crazy.
Well, no.
She loves Dan.
I'll return her safe from harm for you. How about that?
Sweet Friday. Never looked so good. Great to be along here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir!
Hick, I think there's a 50-50 shot we're going to have a PGA Tour event on the First Coast this year.
Yeah?
Yeah, the John Deere's canceled theirs, and that's a July. Okay. And so, the tour isn't ready to say that it's going to be held at Dyes Valley Course, but keep in mind that Dyes Valley Course will have just hosted an event a month earlier. Yeah. So they're going to have all the parameters down, all the protocol on how to properly run an event that, by then you may even have some fans, obviously they wouldn't play and can't play on the stadium course for a variety of reasons. The primary one being there's no 17th hole right now.
Right.
And so that may make it a little more of a long, I don't think it's a done deal by any stretch, but, Dyes Valley will certainly be in the consideration in the quote finalists if you would, classify it that way.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I tend to think there'll be one that they eliminated that they'll go play at.
I do too, but the only thing that scares me about
Somebody said Barbasol. Where's that? Is that a new one?
That's Puerto Rico, isn't it?
I don't know.
But the problem with that is, that might be that. The problem with that is, can they get ready to do it in a month? See, the reason it makes me think that they may end up falling back is that that Dye had
Right,
said,
ready to go.
Yeah, they just hosted the month before, so you can just say, all right, let's keep everything in play.
Yeah.
So, and again, it may be quote a long shot, but I do think that, whereas the first time the talk of playing the TPC later, remember when that talk was around? Mm-hmm. Then there was nothing to that talk.
No.
I think there's something, and there's not even any talk. I would say that just because the stadium is shut down, don't think that Sawgrass might not still host that PGA tournament. And we're talking about an event that's in the middle of July. I don't have the right in front of me. 13th,
9th through the 12th.
9th through the 12th. So we'll see.
I guess what I saw.
The good thing about that is by July 12th, we're going to have a number of sports around in some form.
Yeah. Well, Gardner Minshew met the media yesterday and said all the right things, of course, and it was cool to see. But it got me thinking as he sort of takes over the team. He kind of explained how they do some, talking plays through and stuff. And I suppose if you do it that way, it's going to be effective. At some point, you got to get on the field. But if you get on the field for training camp, you can run through the play. As long as you know them, you'll be fine.
We talked about this earlier. Mm-hmm. When you have them all on Zoom, you may have to. The guys may be having to focus even a little more than they are if they're just in a classroom setting.
Right.
It may be more effective in some ways, and if it plays that way, this may be something that we see NFL teams start their year doing every year and keep them off the field. We'll see.
I threw out a poll question. It'll be fun to revisit it just because of what your mindset is right now versus the reality of a 16-game season. But our drill poll question today, presented by the Edge Group. If you need to sell your property fast, residential, commercial, call 904-474-5851. In honor of Minshew meeting with the media yesterday, I was wondering his stats for 2020. I gave you 4 options. 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Okay. That'd be unbelievable, right?
That's
Great year. 100-plus rating is another option. Okay. Doesn't play all 16 games. 3250, 22 touchdowns, 15 picks. That's kind of playing the whole year but not being – if you play 16 games and throw for 3,200 yards, you're throwing for 200 yards a game.
I would say that it could be an unimpressive first one. And the reason I say unimpressive is – and if you're a bad team and you're behind a lot, you're just throwing. You got to have a lot of volume. So you may throw it 650 times to get 4,000 yards. But if you can keep that interception total at 10 or less, I think you've had a pretty. You've had a decent year.
Well, we got 400 votes already, and it's interesting because 35.4 go for the big year, 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 10 picks. But 35% also go for the 3250, 2215.
And that's also very believable for me.
Yeah, and then 10% went for a 100-plus rating. 18% say he's not going to play all 16 games. So 53, it's half and half, basically.
Listen,
half think he's going to do really well, and half think he's going to kind of return to.
I'm not going to feel sorry for Gardner Minshew's shot because as a 6th-rounder, he's getting it a lot sooner.
Right.
But you do kind of sense that it's all or nothing year for him.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
For sure.
And even if he's okay and they win 5, you got to, they're going to be aggressive.
Yeah, probably.
Because here's what happened, man. We had a quarterback who was a lot more physically superior to Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
And in his second year, we only won 5, but he threw 31 touchdowns, and we thought, hey, we'll
Actually,
be okay.
Threw 36, I think.
We'll be okay.
Yeah. But we recognize junk time, too. But you're right.
Well,
we did.
Yeah.
And along those lines, my son sent me this. I guess Madden did a simulation of the season.
Yeah. I know at our house, the Jags don't win a game in that.
Oh, they won 1.
Well, good for them.
Yeah, they won 1. They beat Tennessee week 2, I believe.
Yeah, you told me that already.
Yeah. Well, they finished it up, and they ended up 1-15.
Okay.
So.
Beef's happy.
We did it!
Buying his Trevor Lawrence jersey.
Houston went 11-5. The Titans went 10-6. The Colts a disappointing 7-9. The Bills won the East. You'll be glad to know your Jets were second, 7-9.
Okay, got a chance.
The Ravens 14-2. The Browns 10-6. The Steelers 9-7. Chiefs won 13-3. The Vegas Raiders, the Broncos, and the Chargers all 7-9. So that's how it went in the AFC. In the NFC, just for fun, the Cowboys were 10-6 and won the division. The Pack won their division 11-5. Seahawks won their division at 10-6 over the.
What were the Cardinals?
Cardinals were 9-7. Good news here, Beef. This may elicit another cheer. The Rams 6-10.
Oh, yeah.
You'd have 2 top 10 picks
Let's
then.
go,
Imagine
baby.
if the Rams pick is higher.
Oh, well, come on.
What a failure for the Rams if they're 6-10. My
Yeah.
God, they traded 2 first
And the
rounders.
Bucks went 12-4 and beat the Saints at 10-6. So Anyway, your Falcons.
You
win
know what?
8-8.
I don't understand.
It's just a simulation.
What do they have? The Falcons? Terrible.
8-8.
8-8. Well, that's about what they've been doing. There's one team on there that I just don't understand their offseason. And the closer we get to the season, what a mistake the Chargers are making with that defense that they got to not upgrade the quarterback position. Well, I mean, I know you reset with Herbert. Why would you not sign Cam Newton to a 1-year incentive-laden deal? And maybe they still do if you're the Chargers. There's a void.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's a void there.
Yeah.
Hey, go fill it.
Because you got a good team, man.
Right, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, don't we know what Tyrod Taylor's going to give you? He's going to be very efficient. His passer rating's going to be good.
Last time we talked about Tyrod Taylor, you had to write me a fat $1,000 check.
That one hurt too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he got hurt though, so
Doesn't matter.
I know.
That was the bet.
Yeah, but
he wouldn't have continued to start.
I didn't have. All I had to do was make it to the month of October.
That
Heck.
wasn't going to happen.
Well, he was 2 of the 4 in, and he got hurt.
Yeah. That's how it works.
Whatever. I'm not.
It was clearly spelled out in the contract.
Okay. And correct, and I paid you. Just leave me alone.
did.
You don't have to,
Well,
bring it up every
wonderful
time. What the hell are
$1,000.
you talking about? I mean, should I? But I mean, you once dime bet me Andy Dalton was better than Matt Ryan. I mean, when are we going to stop?
I did.
Come on.
He's still playing. So show some respect.
Dalton. Where did
Yeah.
Dalton hit Bup?
Dallas.
Oh, that's right. Went down
Maybe
there.
big.
Yeah.
Could come up big this
Huge.
year.
Bad news for Dak.
What about Joe? With all of these good quarterbacks, say willing to be a backup, Jameis and Dalton, maybe even Cam. And I got Joe Flacco still holding on that he wants to be a starter. Joe, Denver brought you in to be a starter. You're so damn bad they had to go to a rookie.
Well, Joe.
Joe's not going to be a starter again.
Joe's just saying the things he's supposed to say.
Is
he?
he?
Yeah, I think Joe knows.
3 years from now, I'll see myself as a starter. 3 years from now, Joe, I see you retired, friend.
Joe, you're going to be at the shore down there
Right.
in the eastern shore there
Joe,
in Maryland.
3 years from now, you're going to be the QB coach at Delaware.
Yeah, correct. Joe, come on.
You're going to be coaching and Dover High.
Quickie poll. Where do you see Joe Flacco in 3 years?
Let's go, hands.
A, starting, B, anything but.
The other thing I want to get into today is obviously the Georgia getting another quarterback, and just the way they're doing it is kind of odd. But it's just, gosh, man, recruiting is we've always said this. Recruiting is a dirty game on both sides. Well, it's almost like it's even dirtier now with the portal because it again, you have to sort of prove yourself every year, and yet a kid like Carson Beck now. He doesn't even get a chance to prove himself yet. I mean,
Kirby Smart is going to have to leave his comfort zone if Georgia's going to take the next step.
Yeah.
Here's why, Dan. Kirby Smart is still on Nick Saban's blueprint when he was the defensive coordinator there.
Yeah.
Okay, protect the ball quarterbacks and run the football.
Yeah.
And play defense.
Yeah.
It's exactly how Alabama won with Blake Sims and even McCarron and those guys.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't work now. If you're going to win it all, you better throw the ball. Trevor Lawrence, Tua, Deshaun, just go down the line. Nobody's winning, handing it to Nick Chubb and Sony Michel 20 times each and winning a title.
Yeah.
He's come close,
Yeah.
but he hasn't won. Since Kirby Smart got there, Georgia is second in the conference in wins. They're second in the conference rushing. They're second in the conference points allowed. And they're 12th in passing yards.
Yeah.
You got to be a little better. I don't think JT Daniels will ever play at Georgia. He's going to have to sit out a year, the Jamie Newman quarterback.
We think. We don't know.
Well, I think
we don't know.
This one looks like it.
Well, you would think, but who knows?
I don't think he'll be eligible this year. He has no.
I don't think so either,
Yeah.
but who knows? Again,
Rationale.
so let's say he does sit out a year. Why wouldn't you think he'd win the job?
I think Georgia will have a better quarterback than JT Daniels. I'm always wary of the guy who's transferring because he's the backup at his school, not for any other reason.
He sort of lost a job because of injury, though.
Yeah, and the other guy's much better.
Well, that's what they determined.
Yeah.
They all.
He sort of
scurried
lost
out
a job to injury. That's fair, but so
he didn't sort of. He blew his knee out.
So did Felipe
Game one.
Franks. You know, how much you believe in him going to Arkansas? Because he's been a better college quarterback to this point than
Yeah.
you know.
This guy, that'll be interesting.
He was a highly recruited kid.
Listen,
He was right behind Fields and Lawrence.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Have they?
It's an option. He does have 3 years too, so it's not like you're just giving up a scholarship for a 1-year guy. But I do think this. And I know it's hard when you got Swift and Michelle and Chubb and you're comfortable and you're winning most all your regular season games. Georgia's got to revolutionize their passing game. They've got to be better.
I'm not talking about
football.
Georgia. I'm talking about the game of recruiting and what it means to the kids who, when they're being recruited, are told things and then they go there and all of a sudden, I mean, we're not going to, they've got the 2021, one of the top quarterbacks in 2021 who might be the guy. And if you're a Georgia quarterback, you must be wary of this. When he picks his guy, he tends to stick with him. He stuck with Fromm. He didn't open the door for Fields whatsoever.
Didn't stick with Eason.
So, because he got hurt. And Fromm proved it over a period of a year, and then Fromm was the guy for the next 2. So my point is, whoever wins the job in 2021, keep Georgia on the hotline, other schools, because there might be a mass exodus of quarterbacks. Vandergriff, Beck, Daniels. This is Newman's only year there, right?
Yeah.
He only gets 1, yeah. So it's going to be interesting, and it's certainly worth talking about. And it's like I said, it's listen. If you're Carson Beck, and I'm saying this because I know the kid, he's from Jacksonville, and you'll say all the right things, but in the back of your mind, you got to be like, "What in the world, man?
Sure.
Come on."
Sure.
I mean, at least give me a shot here.
Well, and I tell you what,
because
Coach,
experience always wins out, Pross. When the experienced guy, if they're close, they're always going to go with the guy who's been through it.
Jalen Hurts too.
Yeah, JT Daniels has been through it. So.
But he wasn't a winning quarterback. I mean,
No, but he's got a year under his belt.
No, I
so
hear
he's got
ya.
that. He's been through the.
But it'll only be a year, and then it'll have been 2 sitting.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure. So it'll be interesting to see.
One
how
thing is true, and
that all pans
Dan
out.
Mullen's doing a via recruiting. Teams more and more are loading up that quarterback room.
And that's okay, but you got to stack them like a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got like Georgia's kind of like an all or nothing, man. Like whoever wins it in 2021,
Everyone else is going to want to leave
They're
because
gonna
they all
leave.
have so much time left.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to be here for 3
I was just surprised that JT Daniels just didn't go to UTEP or somewhere where he can start. You know you're the starter.
Right.
So that's interesting to me. It seems like for the most, at least, I think Georgia's getting the right kind of transfer. In other words, the guys that transfer early and have 2 or 3 years at their school have worked out. Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Justin Fields. The guys who get to the end and they have 1 year left and they've been beat out, the Everett Golstons and the Malik Zairs and Blake Barnett's, they haven't worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're Georgia and you're going to go the transfer route, it's been proven through the success that you're better off getting a guy that you can have for 2 or 3 years and not just have to. Russell Wilson did it, but not many have. So,
All right, let's do this. Let's take a break, get it rolling here on a Friday. We'll come back, do a 10-minute drill, see what else is cooking in sports. Another day, more baseball, back and forth, player v. player, screaming at each other.
I'm concerned for minor league baseball. It sucks.
Oh,
We're going to
man.
kill an institution in this country, and baseball's going to
Golly.
cut its nose to spite its face. It's going to cut off its bloodline.
Yeah, you understand there will be no
Single A ball.
there will be no minor league baseball this year.
Oh, not this year.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a bigger issue. Minor league baseball is going to be 20% of what it was.
Why? Well, I know why, but it's just a shame that when we decide to make and one of the bigger issues that we can talk about today is sports. We've run into something that has
It's all about the money.
well, and it's too much money, and I think everybody's finally realizing what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Well, it's too much money. We pay athletes too much money. The owners make too much money. Television
TV costs
pays out
too
too much money.
Yeah.
It's too much money.
It's not really worth it.
And
At the end of the day, we love the game and the competition and the spirit. The money nauseates fans.
yeah.
And it's not making the games any better, not making the
It's
athletes
not
any
money.
better.
I mean, what do you need there? So,
Yeah.
it's I don't know economics. I need to get Dave Denslow on the phone. I'm not sure if he's still with us.
He's not.
The late great Dave
Economics
Denslow,
professor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tulips. That's all I remember. But
Here's what I know about Dave Denslow. He
Yeah.
is the man who's had classes watched more on tape than any man in the history of
Did you have Dave
education.
Denslow?
Yeah, well, sure I did.
yeah, all right.
Who went to Florida didn't have Dave Denslow?
Eco 1, baby.
Yeah, Eco 1.
He was the greatest.
Here's how I enjoyed Dave Denslow's Eco 1 class. I went over one of the annex libraries and watched like 2 weeks worth every 2 weeks.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. It was
a
not
lot
good,
of information
wasn't
being
a good,
thrown at you.
Wasn't a good plan.
Don't think I got a good grade in Echo 1.
I think I did okay.
Yeah. Well, you were valedictorian.
Well, that's an advantage.
Back with more next.
Now, Downtime with Dan on 1010XL. Brought to you by Ameris Bank. At Ameris Bank, you don't have to pay for our attention. Our advice doesn't come with a price tag. See what we're all about at amerisbank.com.
You're darn right we should all have chips on our shoulders, Gardner. Nobody thinks you guys are worth a duty. That's right, I just said it. You're ranked 32nd in every power poll. You're picked first in next year's mock draft in every mock draft. I mean, they think the Jacksonville Jaguars are the worst team in the NFL, and it's not even debatable. So, yeah, somebody better have a chip on his shoulder, and you better get that chip and break it and put it on everybody else's, because if we don't play with chips on our shoulders, we're just going to get annihilated in 2020. And then what? That ain't going to work out for you either. So keep building that chip. Make it as big as you can. Go out and beat the Colts in the opener. Let's roll.
At Ameris Bank, you don't have to pay for our attention.